Greetings of the day, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on learning outcomes and pedagogies. In this session, we will explore how clearly defined learning outcomes guide effective teaching and how pedagogy shapes the way students learn and how assessment ties everything together. Now, we will also look at the practical classroom examples and strategies to align what we teach, how we teach, and how we measure learning. By the end of the session, you will gain ideas to make lessons more focused, engaging, impactful for every learner. So let's understand the objective of this webinar. Now, after attending this webinar, you will be able to understand the concept and importance of learning outcomes, explore various pedagogical approaches, learn how to align pedagogy with desired outcomes, share best practices and classroom strategies. So let's understand what are learning outcomes. Now, learning outcomes are clear, measurable sentences that describe what students should know, what students should understand and be able to do after a lesson or a unit. They help teachers focus on what truly matters in learning, not just what is taught, but what is learned. Supposingly, we talk about focus on knowledge, what students should know. Focus on skills, what students be able to do. Focus on attitudes or values, what students should feel or demonstrate. So guide curriculum design, instruction and assessment. We take the example side by side. If we talk about the primary level in English, learning outcome will be student will be able to identify nouns and use them correctly in the sentences. So activity will be ask student to circle the noun in the story and write 3 sentences using them. So assessment will be observe accuracy, creativity in their sentences. Next, if we take about the middle school example, we take science subject, the outcome will be student will be able to explain the process of photosynthesis and its importance for the plants. So activity will be here, create a diagram of photosynthesis and label it components. So assessment will be check understanding through the short oral explanation or a quiz. Let's understand types of learning outcomes. Now, learning outcomes can be grouped into 3 main domains, that is cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Now, each domain focuses on a different areas of student development, that is thinking, feeling, and doing. Now, understanding these help teachers to design balanced lesson that develops the whole child, mind, heart, and hands. So let's talk about cognitive domain, that is thinking. So it basically focuses on knowledge, comprehension, and intellectual skills. It includes recalling facts, understanding the concept, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. For example, in science subject, learning outcome will be student will be able to explain the process of evaporation and its role in the water cycle. So activity will be here. Conduct a simple experiment showing how water disappears from a bowl kept in sunlight. So ask the student to draw and label the stages of the water cycle. That is the assessment. So here is the tip for teachers. Use questioning and discussions and problem solving tasks to promote the high order thinking. Next one, affective domain. That is feelings. Now, it basically focuses on attitudes, emotions, values, and character building. It helps students to develop respect, empathy, motivation, and social responsibilities. For example, if we take social science subject, learning outcome will be student will be able to demonstrate the respect for different cultures and tradition. So activity will be here, have student presentation festival from different communities and share one value they learned. So assessment will be observe the participation, respectful communication and reflection in discussion. So the main tip for the teachers here, model positive behavior and use group activities to nurture empathy and values. Third one is psychomotor domain, which is doing. Now, it focuses on physical skills, coordinations, and use of motor abilities. It involves practice, demonstrations, and performance. For example, if we take the physical education class or the art class, learning outcome will be student will be able to perform basic yoga posture with correct alignment and breathing. Activity will be demonstrate a few asana and guide students to practice them safely. So assessment will be observe balance, posture, and effort during the practice. Teacher tip will be here. Use step-by-step demonstration and provide feedback for the improvement. Let's talk about the importance of learning outcomes. Now, learning outcomes are the foundation of effective teaching and learning. They clearly state what students are expected to learn and help teachers plan lessons, assessments, and classroom strategies with focus and purpose. Number one, it provides direction for teaching and learning. Now, learning outcomes act like a roadmap. They show both teachers and students where the learning journey is headed. So teachers can plan lessons, choose resources, and design activities that directly support those outcomes. For example, basic outcome will be student will be able to write a paragraph using correct pronunciation. Now, teacher plans activity like pronunciation or a punctuation, games, guided writing, and peer editing. The student know exactly what they are aiming to achieve. So result will be teaching becomes focused and student learn with clarity. Number two, it helps in designing assessment. Now, assessment should measure how well students have achieved the stated outcomes. This ensure alignment between teaching, learning, and evaluation. For example, student will be able to solve word problem using multiplication. So teacher designs the assignment with a story-based multiplication problem instead of simple sum. So result will be assessment become meaningful, measurable, real understanding, not rote memorization. Number three, it enhances transparency and accountability. Now, learning outcomes make expectations clear to everyone, teachers, students, parents. They help track progress and identify the gaps of learning. For example, for teachers only, the outcome will be student will be able to describe the main event of India's independent movement. Now, students and parents understand what success look like. The ability to narrate key events, not just recall the dates. Teachers can document progress and reports it clearly, which results everyone knows what is expected and how achievement will be measured. Number four, it support differentiated instructions. Now, when teachers know the specific outcomes, they can adapt lessons for students with different abilities or learning lifestyles. For example, the outcome will be student will be able to read and summarize a short story. So for advanced learner, provide a longer and a complex story. For struggling readers, provide simple text with visuals. So result will be all students reach the same goal but through different pathways suited to their needs. Let's understand what is pedagogy. Now, pedagogy is the art and science of teaching. It refers to the method, strategies, and approaches teachers use to help students learn effectively. Good pedagogy combines knowledge of the subject with an understanding and how students learn best. It influences how content is delivered, how students engage, and ultimately how well they learn. Number one, we talk about art and science of teaching. Now, in art, teaching requires creativity, empathy, and adaptability. And in science, it also draws on learning theories, research, and evidence based strategies. For example, a teacher uses storytelling technique to teach moral values. That is in art, but also structure the story to match the student's attention span and comprehension level. That comes under science, which results the lesson becomes engaging and effective. Number two, it includes teaching methods, strategies, and learning theories. Now, pedagogy is not about what you teach, but how you teach it. It includes classroom practices, teaching tools, and teachers' attendance, understanding of how students learn. For example, if we talk about the method of group discussion, now strategy will be here in group discussion, think, pair, and share. Now, learning theory will be constructive. Students build knowledge through interaction. For example, in English class, students discuss the theme of friendship from a poem in pairs before sharing ideas with the whole class. So result will be student think critically, share confidently, and learn from one another. Number three, we talk about the pedagogy. It influences how content is delivered and received. So pedagogy determines how teacher present the ideas and how students understand them. Different pedagogical styles can completely change the learning experience. For example, teaching the white water cycle. So traditional pedagogy, we talk about teacher explained the pedagogy or the water cycle using diagrams on the board. Now here comes the active pedagogy. Students perform a simple experiment showing evaporation and condensation. So result will be the second method helps students experience and retain the concept better. So in short, I would say here for pedagogy, pedagogy transforms information into meaningful learning experiences. Let's understand pedagogical approaches. Now, when we talk about pedagogical approaches, there are different ways teachers design and deliver learning experience based on how students learn best. Now, each approach is guided by a learning theory and helps teachers to choose right method, activities, and tools for their classroom. Here are four major pedagogical approaches which explain with a simple classroom examples. Number one, constructivist approach, learner center inquiry based. Now, based on the ideas that students build their own understanding through experiences, exploration, and reflection. The teacher acts as a facilitator rather than just a source of information. For example, in science subject, properties of water, now, activity will be students experiment with the ice, water, and steam to observe the changes in states. Now, teacher's role here, teacher will guide students to make observation and draw conclusion. Result will be students discover concept themselves, leading to deeper understanding and curiosity. Number two, behaviorist approach, skill mastery through repetition and reinforcement. Now it focuses on observable behavior and practice with feedback. Learning happens through repetition, rewards, and correction. For example, in English subject, spelling new words. Now students repeat and write each word several times. Teacher's role will be praise the correct answer. Great job. And give gentle correction when needed. Result will be student masters the skill through practice and positive reinforcement. Number three, cognitive approach. Now, focus on mental processes and understanding. It emphasizes how the mind processes information. Teachers help students to organize knowledge, make connections, and develop problem solving skills. For example, in math subject, the topic will be fractions. Now, in fractions, activity will be use visual aids just like a pie chart, fraction bars to show how parts make a whole. Teacher's role will be here to guide students to connect visuals with abstract concept. Now, students not only remember facts but also to understand why and how the concept work. Number four, connective approach. Now, learning through network and digital tools, which focuses on learning in digital age, where knowledge is built through connections, collaboration, and technology. Now, it encourages students to use online tools, share ideas, and learn from multiple sources. For example, if we talk about the social science class, topic is climate change. Now, student research online, share findings on the Padlet or the Google Classroom and discuss global perspective. So, teacher's role will be here to curate the resources and guide critical discussions. Result will be students become independent digital learners who can find, evaluate, and use information responsibly. So let's understand how to align pedagogy with learning outcomes. Now, here's the aligning pedagogy with learning outcomes means ensuring that how you teach directly supports what you want students to learn, which is learning outcome. Now, when teaching methods, activities, and assessments are all connected to the learning goals, students learn more effectively and purposefully. Number one, match teaching strategies to desired outcomes. Now, teachers should choose teaching methods that help students to achieve the specific outcomes set for the lesson or a unit you want to teach in the class. For example, the learning outcome in your hand, student will be able to analyze the main theme of the story. So pedagogy will be here, use group discussions and role play instead of lecture. Activity will be here, student act out the scene and discuss what each reveals about the theme. Result will be the strategy promotes deeper thinking, which is analysis, aligning perfectly with the learning outcome. Number two, use Bloom taxonomy to scaffold learning. Now, Bloom's technology helps teachers to plan the lesson that move from basic understanding to higher order thinking skills. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. For example, water cycle, lower order will be recall the stages, that is, remember. So, middle order will be explain the process, which comes understand and apply. Higher order will be create a model showing the water cycle, which comes under create. So result will be teaching and activities built gradually helping every student to reach the intended learning outcome step by step. Number three, incorporate formative and summative assessment. Now, assessment should be measured the same scale or knowledge that outcomes describe. Formative assessment, ongoing checks during the learning, which could be quizzes, observation, exit tickets. When we talk about summative assessment, the evaluation at the end of the test, just like a project or a presentation. For example, if you have an outcome of student will be able to solve real life maths problems using percentages. So formative assessment will be here, quick quiz or a peer practice with a shopping discount. You have a dummy market in the classroom, prepare that dummy market and ask them to use the shopping discount activity. When we talk about summative assessment, end of the unit project, calculating GST or a profit and loss in the real life situation. So result will be assessment confirms whether teaching and learning strategies achieve the outcome or not. Number four, reflect and adapt based on students' feedback. Now, effective pedagogy requires continuation, reflection. Teachers should adjust their methods based on what worked and what didn't. For example, after teaching a lesson on a grammar, a teacher realizes through student feedback that many students struggled with sentence structure. The teacher plans a follow-up session using games and visuals to reinforce the concept, which results reflection helps to improve teaching alignment and ensures all students meet the learning goals. So let's understand some strategies for effective teaching. Effective teaching goes beyond delivering content. It's about creating engaging, supportive, and inclusive learning experiences that help every student succeed. Here are four key strategies teachers can use along with simple classroom examples. Number one, use active learning techniques. Now, active learning involves students participating, thinking, and doing rather than just listening. It helps to improve understanding, retention, and critical thinking. For example, in science subject, if we talk about food chain, so activity will be here. Student create a food web chart using the pictures of animals and discuss how energy flows in the nature. So teacher's role will be here to guide, caution, and encourage and reflection. So students learn by exploring and applying knowledge instead of memorizing the facts. Number two, integrate technology meaningfully. Now, technology should enhance learning, not distract from it. Use digital tools to make lessons interactive, personalized, and accessible. For example, if we talk about the English subject, activity will be student use Google Slides or a Canva to create a digital storybook based on a class novel. So teacher's role will be here to provide templates, guide content creation, and review submission online. So students develop creativity, digital literacy, and collaboration skills while reinforcing their language learning. Number three, it encourages collaboration and peer learning. Now, learning with from peers builds communication, teamwork, and problem-solving abilities. It also boosts confidence and helps students to learn in a social, supportive environment. For example, in mathematics, students work in pairs to solve real-life world problems and explain their reasoning to the class. So teacher's role will be here to facilitate discussion and ensure equal participation. So result will be students clarify their understanding through explanation and learn alternative methods from peers. Number four, provide timely feedback and support. Now, feedback helps students to understand what they did well and where they can improve. Timely, constructively, feedback motivates learners and guide process. For example, if we take the subject in writing skills, so after students submit essays or the teacher shares quick notes on the strength, content, and structure, the areas of the improvement like grammar or clarity. So teacher's role will be here to offer one-on-one feedback or use digital comments. For example, or the result will be students feel supported and are more likely to apply corrections in the next task. So let's learn assessing learning outcomes. Now, assessing learning outcomes means measuring how well students have achieved the goals set for the lesson or a unit. So, effective assessment helps teachers to understand what students know, where they struggle, and how teaching can be improved. It's not just about grading, it's about guiding, learning, and teaching. Number one, use rubrics and performance indicators. Now, rubrics clearly define criteria and levels of performance so both teachers and students know what success looks like. They make assessment fair, transparent, and consistent. For example, in English, learning outcome will be student will be able to write a well-organized paragraph. Rubric criteria will be clear topic sentence 5 marks, logical flow of the idea 5 marks, correct grammar and punctuation 5 marks, or using of linking words 5 marks. So teacher's role will be to assess writing based on the rubrics and share the results with the student. So result will be students understand the expectation and can improve the specific skill. Number two, align assessment with outcomes. Now, assessment should directly measure the skills and knowledge described in the learning outcomes. This ensures validity that you are testing what you intended to teach. For example, the learning outcome will be student will be able to apply fractions to real life problems. So aligned assessment will be ask student to calculate the discount or share a pizza recipe using the fractions. Not aligned means asking students to just memorize the fraction definition and perform the activity. So result will be assessment reflect real understanding, not the rote learning. Number 3, include self and peer assessment. Now, encouraging students to assess their own and others' work builds reflection, responsibility, and critical thinking. For example, in science subject, the activity will be group experiment. Each student fill a reflection sheet, what went well and what could improve. So peer assessment will be student give constructive feedback on another's group presentation. So result will be student become active participant in their own learning process. Number 4, to analyze data to improve instructions. Now, after assessment, teachers should analyze results to identify the pattern, which concept were well understood and which need reteaching. This makes teaching more responsive and data driven. For example, in math subject, after a unit test, the teacher notices many students scored low in word problem question. So action will be plan a follow-up lesson with step-by-step practice and visuals for word problems. Result will be teaching is adjusted to address real learning needs. Let's take one case study example here for outcome learning or pedagogy alignment. Now, understanding how learning outcomes and pedagogy work together becomes easier through real life example. When teaching methods, that is pedagogy, are aligned with learning outcomes, so learning becomes purposeful, measurable, and engaging. So below are some examples I will show you. Case 1 study, if we talk about in English, building writing skills. Now, students will be able to write a descriptive paragraph using appropriate objectives and sentence structures. So pedagogical approach means constructive approach, active learner center learning. The teacher becomes by showing a picture example like a market scene. The students brainstorm sensory words, what they see, what they hear, and what they smell. So in the group, they write a short paragraph describing that picture. The teacher facilitates peer review using a simple rubric like content, vocabulary, or grammar. So assessment will be students submit revised paragraph after peer feedback. Result will be student apply vocabulary in context, learning outcome achieved, and collaboration and reflection strengthen writing skills. Let's see the key takeaways for the teachers. Now, effective teaching is not just about covering the syllabus. It's about connecting learning outcomes, pedagogy, and assessments in a thoughtful, reflective way. Now, teachers can apply in their own classrooms also. Number 1, learning outcomes guide effective teaching. Now, teaching or a learning outcomes give clarity and direction. They help teachers to focus on what students should know, understand, and be able to do. For example, before teaching a lesson on fractions, the teacher defines the outcome. Student will be able to solve the real life problem using fractions. So activity will be activities, examples, and assessments are then assigned or designed to meet this specific goal. Result will be teaching becomes focused and students know exactly what is expected of them. Number 2, pedagogy must be intentional and adaptive. Now, pedagogy is effective only when it is purposeful and flexible, tailored to students' need, learning styles, and context. For example, if a class is struggling with reading comprehension, the teacher might switch from lecture style teaching to pair reading and discussion, that is active learning. When teaching abstract science concept, they might use experiment or stimulations, which results students stay engaged and learning becomes more meaningful, becomes teaching adapts to their learning and their needs. Number 3, assessment is integral to the learning cycle. Now, assessment is not the end of the learning. It is the part of ongoing cycle of teaching, feedback, and improvement. For example, after a lesson on a paragraph writing, a teacher uses rubrics to give feedback on a structure and a grammar. So student revise their work and submit again. So result will be assessment helps both teacher and students to reflect, improve, and progress towards mastery. Number four, collaboration enhances professional growth. Now, teaching improves when educators learn from one another through sharing ideas, observing practices, and co planning lessons. For example, two teachers collaborate to design an interdisciplinary project blending science and English by having students write reports on a water pollution. Now they share reflections afterward to improve future lessons, which results in collaboration brings creativity, it reduces stress and enhances both teacher and student learning experience. Thank you everyone. Thank you for today for listening me. This is for all today.